Lobs one down the right side at the goal line, leaping attempt. Wow. Brees Hall. Oh, it's a Jet touchdown.
Yo. We are live, episode 6 of the JetSet podcast. I am Brent, a.k.a. TakeFlight_today. Joining me and my co-host every week, Alan, a.k.a. NY Jets Planet. And yeah, we are back. I'm in a different location for this week. My brother's getting married this weekend in Cancun. So, that's not going to stop me from coming up here and getting my stuff off about this team for sure though. But
yeah, I didn't get the invite though.
It would have been a late invite for sure. But yeah, no, man, yeah. So it's been a rough week, leading into this episode. Alan, how you feeling about everything going in? I guess initial thoughts about where we at, where we're sitting and the state of the Jets right now.
Yeah, I will say I feel like I'm back where I was about 2 weeks ago, where it's like I'm at least happy that they did it now. Like they just crumbled now rather than like string me along and then break my heart later on. I don't know which one's worse, like getting very close and then just missing the playoffs at the end of the season, or just never having a chance to begin with. It at least makes me feel better about the previous seasons because I was saying, like, we were always like, oh, we were just a quarterback away. And it's like, wow, we could have been in playoffs a couple years in a row. As we're seeing this year, that hasn't necessarily been the case. So it does make me feel a little bit better about that. Like, we haven't been this, like, low-key Super Bowl contender that has just been this quarterback away. But, we're starting to see the team for what it really is. And I think there's obviously there's a lot of bad that we're seeing, but there is some good out of it.
Yeah, I mean, just to echo those sentiments for sure. It's like, like the team, along the weeks, they were, stringing us along with hopes, little breadcrumbs of hope, just kind of like leading us on, and it just all came kind of like crashing in our face this past weekend. It was bad, and I had the pleasure of actually being in the stadium.
Oh yeah, hold on. This is for those that were there last week. This was Brent talking about him actually going to the game.
I hope they put the camera on me because I'm gonna be I'm gonna be up there. I'm gonna be touching the ceiling, but I'm gonna be like kind of like on the bar. Like on the banister, on one of those high, sections. So I'm gonna have a good view. So yeah, hope they get me up there.
So how was that view?
So I was right there at the banister. I was like kind of right there. It was tough. Look, that was my move from midway through the second quarter all the way until coaches were shaking hands after the game. It was tough. And Cardinals fans, I can't, I could have bashed them or anything. Like I guess they are fair with their fans, but like they weren't like really like menacing, or like the fans I was sitting around weren't that bad. I actually felt sorry. They were asking me, like, what's wrong? You know, like Aaron. This is supposed to be Aaron Rodgers. Like, what's wrong? I was like, you know, you're preaching to the choir, man. Like, I really, you know, can't even tell you. But you know, the game was. I mean, the stadium was nice. You know, Phoenix is like amazing. You know, the whole atmosphere around the stadium. It was a lot of Jet fans in there. A lot of Jet fans that I didn't expect to see, like initially. But you know, when I pulled up there, it was, it was surprisingly a lot of green. You know, I had met some other Jet fans like there, like at the bars. Everybody was hype. Everybody was like, you know, we just beat Houston. Like, let's go get this dub. It's Kyler Murray. Like, you know, whoa, whoa, whoa. But yeah, no, it all came crashing. I think before I even got to my seat, James Conner was running down the sideline off of a screen pass where he broke like 4 or 5 tackles. And yeah, before I even got to my seat, I felt like the game was over. So yeah,
I know.
yeah, it was.
Rough, man.
It was tough. It was tough, man. But I mean, hey, shout out to Arizona. Phoenix is dope. But But yeah, like that was a tough one to sit through, and I sat through the whole thing too. Like I didn't leave in the third quarter. I didn't fly out there to leave after halftime either. Like I stayed until 0.00. You know, and
Oh, you're better than me.
yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, I'm gonna get my money's worth. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. I was at I went to a bar. I was there up until about like the beginning of the fourth quarter. Like it was midway through the fourth quarter, I'll say. Midway through the fourth quarter. Like once we were like gone down by like 3 touchdowns, I was like, all right. Like the score was what, 31-6. It was just like we didn't have a chance. There was no shot. Like I was like, I know there's miracles that can happen, but like, and then granted, Detroit just did it ironically, but it's kind of close.
But like it's crazy because like there was a point in that game where, you know, we were moving the ball down the field, we just weren't scoring touchdowns, right? We were giving up the touchdowns, we weren't scoring touchdowns. So like we were kind of in the game for, kind of up until halftime. After halftime, we got the ball, went forward on 4th down, and didn't get it. That's when it kind of, that snowball turned into an avalanche, and it was just like what are we doing? Like you can just, I don't even hear a Jets chant in State Farm. That's how bad it was. Like there was no opportunity for us to even do a Jets chant, bro. Like, it was, I mean, it was the worst possible game you can go to, but shout out Arizona and all the people in Arizona, though, for sure. They're, pretty cool.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say is that, like, I think it basically just cemented that we don't have what I consider, like, a talent problem. Like, yeah, like, were there a lot of missed tackles? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Defense didn't play the way we wanted to. I mean, the offense scored 6 points, which actually, shout out our kicker. Clap it up for our kicker, man, because, like,
Schrader.
Like, we've been looking for a kicker. Like, a kicker was literally the reason why we lost all these games. And now we get a kicker, and now the kicks don't even matter.
What kind of stuff? What kind of like?
It don't even matter.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Like, and honestly, I was so pumped too. I was pumped. I saw a kicker. It was I believe it was what, like 14-6 at some point. And I was like, oh, this is good because now we actually have a kicker. So you never know what can happen. Like before, so when you don't have a kicker, that's a hard thing to try to come back for. But at least you're able to get those 3 points. But then, I don't know how you can have Devontae, Garrett, Brees, Conklin. I mean, you could throw in other names, Rucker, Braylon Allen, etc. But you have all these guys can't score a touchdown once. And again, we were just talking about the Arizona defense. I still can't name anyone on it besides Budda Baker. I don't even know how the heck that even happened. But, we just got Chicago'd pretty much.
Yeah.
That's
basically
crazy.
We just got Chicago. That's crazy. And Chicago is, a better team than us, like record-wise right now too. So that's not even, it's just all bad.
They have a rookie quarterback, like you kind of expect those highs and lows with the rookie quarterback.
Right.
The whole point of having Aaron Rodgers is that you kind of supposed to flatline a little bit more. like those highs shouldn't be so high. Well, I mean, the highs hopefully aren't as high, but the lows shouldn't be as low because he's not going through the whole progressions of like learning how to be a pro quarterback.
Yeah.
But it just seems like there is a problem that is so much beyond just the talent there. And it just almost seems like it's just like a mental hurdle where they just don't even believe that they can be in these games. And like on Sunday, it felt like once it was like 14 or whatever, they felt like they didn't even have a chance.
Yeah. Didn't have a chance. And you know, with Aaron Rodgers, it's like we always feel like as long as we're in striking distance, we have a chance. But after a certain point, it just felt like dang, like what are we watching here? You know, like what is this? You know, so you know it's tough. And with that loss, it came with a lot of like backlash from everybody outside the team. You know, and it's like I feel like fans are going against each other now, and it's like
I don't really get that. Like the whole there's no point. I can honestly. I kind of expected us to act like this once we actually got to like close to getting to the playoffs. What are we arguing about right now? Like we're arguing over like very minute things. We didn't have a chance. It is what it is. We just got to let it go. Like it's no different than the previous years. The only difference is we had one person to blame technically. Like we always blame Zach. Now there's not necessarily one person. I mean, actually there is. It's Woody, but there's nothing you can do about that one person. I mean, the good thing is he's hopefully gone.
Hopefully,
we'll over there, and he's gonna be over there in the UK, and we don't have to see. Honestly, hopefully he just stays there. Hopefully he loves it there. He's peaceful, and he decides never to come back.
He's peaceful. He finds.
Yeah. Hopefully he finds some girl. I don't know what he does in his free time, but like hopefully he finds something and takes his mind off it. But with that, to close off the Arizona talks, we're gonna show you a little clip.
I'm sorry I lied to you, Martin. I just didn't want to go to Arizona.
I'm sorry I lied to you, Martin. I just didn't want to go to Arizona. How you gonna say I'm your hero and you lied to me? Being somebody's father is serious business, Marvin. I thought we were cool, huh? I thought we were crossing them. Bow, huh? Bow.
Go on, Marvin. Tell him why you did it.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was all bad. You know. Sorry, I lied to you, Martin. I just didn't want to go to Arizona.
Yeah. At least they could have told us before they decided not to show up. Especially, I don't know what it is about having more time to prepare for a game that makes this team so like this. Like you would think, like, oh, they had a couple extra days. It's like a mini bye week.
Yeah, like we like suck off of like the like that's like.
I'm scared for an actual bye week at this point.
Yeah, our actual bye week. y'all can cancel Christmas.
Yeah,
literally. But yeah, no, it was it was all bad. We always they need to either give us all Thursday night games or
Yeah. But with that said, to get into our next segment, there's been a lot of hate, as you said, going on Twitter. I know we see it on Instagram, comments, DMs, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we're gonna play a little game of over-exaggeration ? And so for the first one, over-exaggeration, Rodgers should retire. Brent, what do you think?
There's definitely an over-exaggeration, in my opinion. Just because the man has too much pride to go out like that, to go out like this. All right. Now, if we were making like a little run, and he was kind of doing his old ways and out there, and we were kind of projected to like go like deep in the playoffs, then yeah, maybe we could say after this year go ahead and hang it up. And if he was getting beat up and he was but still winning, like yeah, like you've done what you can for this organization, bro. You deserve to rest, but he hasn't. So you stay your ass in that damn one test drive, and you make up for this. You make up for this season that we all anticipated, highly anticipated, and you come back and you show us, where that old, bloodhound beagle dog is inside of you, and so we can at least have something to cheer for next season. So yeah, no over exaggeration, Rodgers. You don't need to retire. You need to make up for all this stuff you've been doing. So yeah.
I'm gonna go on the contrary. So I'm gonna say that he should retire in spirit, like where he's at mentally, like what he thinks he is. That should retire. Like I don't know why, but he still thinks he's like this 20-year-old quarterback that can go do all this scrambling and stuff. Like you're not that guy. You're not that guy anymore. You were. He was amazing throughout his whole career, but he is a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. And they're playing this offense as if like every time he's holding the ball for more than like a couple seconds, I'm like, what is he doing? And honestly, a lot of times I'm like, there are guys open. I don't know what it's like. It's almost like he's waiting for like this big play always. I'm like,
he's waiting
easy ones.
He's waiting for Jordan Nelson to run out on the field. That's what he's waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like,
that's what it seems like.
Like it's like he has it. Like I think he has the talent. He has everything. I think I don't know if that's just how the plays are designed. Whatever it is, there's just something fundamentally wrong with how Rodgers is playing versus how I believe he should play for his. Like he really should be mimicking more of that Tom Brady, where it's, hey, I'm in the pocket. About 80% of my passes are quick throws.
Yes.
And if it's not there, I'm throwing out of bounds because I'm not going to sit here and risk my body for especially like a sack's not even worth it. A couple yards because you're not that fast isn't worth it either. But yeah, I'd say just in spirit, yes. But I generally do think he can play. We just need the right coordinator.
Yeah, no, I like how you did that. Like his old mindset should retire, but his current state, you need to come back and prove and like
evolve it.
Show us something. You need to go out like Payne and Tom did. But, I'm sorry, but if you want to be in that category, this is your chance. And don't try and go to the Vikings either after all this. Your old buddy before. Don't even, and go to the NFC Championship. Don't even do that. Like you retire Jet and you go out, with your chin held high, doing your best, making a deep playoff run because what we got this season is basura. And I'm using Spanish because I'm in Mexico. So basura.
The good news is that the Vikings already have too many quarterbacks, so I don't think they'd be interested.
Yeah, you never know this league.
That's true. But now to the next one. The Jets should have never fired Saleh. I'm gonna let you start it.
Over-exaggeration. I don't think this is an over-exaggeration. I don't think we should have. Jets should have never fired Saleh because clearly Ulbrich is. It's hard for him to balance the head coaching duties as well as the defensive play calling. Since Saleh has left, our defense has taken a hit, and it's like it's kind of weird to see. But I mean, as far as fundamental stuff and things like that, and guys talking about energy, like the energy isn't there. Like we literally let our energy go. We let the guy that I feel like focused more on fundamentals go. So not an over exaggeration. We should have kept Saleh. We should have just let him ride it out for the rest of the season. Teams that fire their quarterback fire their head coach mid-season don't have a good record for the rest of the season, historically. So yeah, we should have never fired Rob Saleh for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, I think I should have been a little bit more specific. Like right here, I did make it very generalized, but I will say, my statement on this has been very consistent. They should have never fired him when they did.
Yeah.
There were times to fire him. Mm-hmm. The first one being when they fired Michael Flohr. The second one being before the season. Yeah. Even if you would have hired Coach Britt and you would have said, hey, you're going to become head coach figure out your staff and you at least get the offseason to go figure that stuff out, like that's fine. It's firing a guy, not even it was 5 games in. And honestly, the crazy thing was there were so many more coaches that deserved it. Like Doug Peterson's still a head coach right now. And the Jaguars suck. Jaguars are arguably worse than us right now. So it's one of those things where I definitely feel like the timing was just weird. It did very much feel like an emotional decision. I still stand by, like, I really do hope that Rodgers didn't have a hand in it, because in that case, we have a serious power struggle. But I wouldn't be surprised either, because of just how I've seen Rodgers' mannerisms to be. Like, Rodgers acts like he's in charge. And I think that in itself is a very big problem to have with your team. You cannot have one player have that type of power. Like, good example is Mike Will. And I'll even show that real quick. Mike Will got his first touchdown of the season this year, which is insane. Like, he's been with us for basically half a season. Not one touchdown. He goes to the Steelers in his first game, because touchdown with Russell Wilson out of all quarterbacks. So it's one of those things where it's like, and honestly, the crazy part is I went back and I looked back at Mike Williams' stats. He was progressing each and every game. Like, the first week, they didn't really play him. But then he went from like 0 to 15 to 30 yards to 60 yards in that Broncos game. And then there was that one play on the Vikings where everything pretty much just changed. Like, Rodgers got that, like, whatever, red line, yada, yada.
Yeah. And then the red line versus the Bills. Red line versus, that was – it was 2 back-to-back weeks off of the
yeah, that's what it was. It was the Vikings first, and then it was the Bills. Like, and honestly, I don't. I understand the frustration, but you do have a new receiver, like, and that just kind of shows how Rodgers typically has the same type of guys in his systems for all these years, and he doesn't really expect much change. But at the same time, it's like, if you don't update your systems and you don't update the players, things become stagnant. Like, he's expecting Tay to go do the same stuff he was doing when he was 20-something. He's 32 now. I don't really expect much from Tay exactly. Like, I really just expected him to be a 600 to 800 yard receiver if he was really good, given his age. But yeah, I do think that in itself is a problem. I'll bring the question back up. So all that to say, just not when it happened.
Yeah. I mean, and I think a lot of fans would agree with you when they say, like, the timing was weird with that, though, for sure. So yeah, like 2 and 3, still kind of like in it, about to play for first in the division. Like, the timing was terrible,
Yeah.
So for sure.
Yeah. On to the next one. Coach Brick was a benefactor of Salah. So I'm gonna actually start this one off, and I'll pass it off to you. I actually, because I've heard a few people kind of saying, like, oh, like, Brick is basically nothing without Salah. I personally don't necessarily believe that is entirely true. I think that's just, like you kind of said it before, he has a lot on his plate right now, and he kind of picked it up mid-season. I like, it's hard to know. Like I look at it like, next season, would you want Coach Brick as your defensive coordinator again in the same staff? To an extent, yeah. But at the same time, you'd want a new coach to kind of decide that for themselves.
Yeah.
So I do think that he can be successful, given that he doesn't have to necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily him being head coach that's the issue. I think it was the timing, like we said with Salah. It's like, you just throw a guy in there. That's one of the most impossible jobs to kind of do. A team that's already struggling, that you got to not only go out there and make them believe that they can play, but you got to figure out how to figure out your entire staff all in the same week.
Yeah.
And then as weeks go by, it just becomes harder and harder because, you lose one and you don't have momentum. I'm sure all that stuff kind of just played a factor.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm going to agree with you on this because, I feel like he's a good coach. Like he was like making his way up the like tree, as far as like linebackers coach, defensive coordinator, and then he just got thrown in the head coach role. Like, it's just like, whoa, like, man didn't even know how to pull out a red flag and throw it. Like it's like, when you think about those factors, when you think about him being the benefactor of Salah. Like Salah brought him on because Salah knew that he would be a good not sidekick but like partner in crime as far as like handling this defense. And when you kind of let Batman go and just let Robin take over, you have the Teen Titans. So
you have the Teen Titans, but like it's like throwing the Teen Titans on one of the Justice League's missions. Like that's impossible.
Exactly.
Especially on their first mission.
Exactly. So it's tough when you just like throw a guy in there like that. But I do think he, will be a great coach. I don't know, like I don't think that we can put him back at defensive coordinator after having him as head coach. Like he's probably gone, or if he like just wants to just be here with us as a defensive coordinator, or Chris or Woody wants to bring in a coach that wants Ulbrich as a defensive coordinator, then we'll see how that works. I would love for him to be a defensive coordinator, but he's been talked up so much by peers and coaches. I feel like he's going to go find a job elsewhere. So
yeah, the other thing that I've been going back and forth about, I know that like the 49ers were considering him for defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Like over the offseason. I know teams have been considering him for head coach. It's just they've been waiting to see like what happens with the Jets. I do worry that now that he's kind of just been thrown into that position, like the same way that this comes up with the fans, this is coming up in those front office conversations with other teams.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to go use him as your defensive coordinator, or do you worry that like all of his success was mostly due to Salah? So,
right.
I think that's a question that's unknown to especially other teams. But I think it all just comes down to like I would love him as a defensive coordinator if he would stay. But I think it all comes down to who your coach is. And I think depending on who your coach is probably depending on if he'd stay. Like, you bring in Ben Johnson, I can't imagine like I'm not saying we're a great situation, but there's not many great defenses where the defensive coordinator position just so happens to be open. Like the 49ers position being open last year was a little bit crazy. But then again, that's also because there's such high expectations for that role.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And granted, there's a lot of expectations for this role too. So I don't know where he weighs that and what he decides, but I'm sure that role is going to be there for him, especially if we take offensive head coach.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, the defense might need a fresh start as far as just
that's true.
Like coaches in the building. The players, we see them on the field all the time, but I think I said this on my page earlier this week that let's like we need to be pointing the fingers at like Woody and like our staff, because like our players are the ones out there on the field, but it's like they're the ones like I guess resulting in like the whole like circus Olay of like just people shifting around the staff too. So it's like we need to find like a stable like platform, which is our coaches and things like that. So and then we'll see how it goes from there. We kind of had that last year, and our defense was playing well. We were we looked like a better team like the last 2 years. I feel like because we had a stable coaching staff, so as soon as it got wonky, that's when you saw it. I feel like everything got wonky this season. So it's like,
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But speaking about attacking the players, the last one, Sauce is no longer elite. I know this is something that we have seen, especially on our pages, over and over and over again. I've seen at least like 20 posts just on my feeds saying like, oh, Sauce is trash, trade him away, yada, yada, yada. I'll let you start it off. Is that an over-exaggeration that Sauce is no longer elite?
Yes. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I've been getting the same stuff online. I've been seeing the same stuff. Like Sauce is washed, overrated. He sucks. He's this, that, and the third. But it's like, all right, like his third year, His first 2 was all pro, and everybody's calling him the best corner in the league. And he hasn't been playing, up to those first 2-year standards. Like he hasn't. I'm not trying to excuse his play. I'm not trying to excuse what we've been seeing on the field as far as just game changing plays that he can make, that he has made before. But to say that he's no longer elite, right? That's diabolical.
It is.
It's very diabolical because he's been missing tackles. All right, he's been doing all that. Tackle the ball carrier, wrap him up, bring him to the ground. He knows that. He's been publicly taking accountability for it, right? But I haven't seen anybody throw any touchdowns on him. People say, and not to throw any shade at DJ Reed because DJ Reed is my guy, right? But I saw a touchdown on him in person, last week. So it's just because DJ Reed got a touchdown scored on him, we're not saying, trade him or nothing. DJ Reed is a phenomenal tackler. He is. I love when he's going in to make the tackle. So, but as far as Sauce, to say he's no longer elite with everything he's shown us up to this point, up to these last, 3-4 games, is very blasphemous. You know what I'm saying? And shout out Stephen A. But yeah, it's very, very, very blasphemous to say that Sauce is no longer elite. He's still one of the best corners in the league. Does he deserve Pat Surtain money? I don't think so. Pat Surtain played at a consistent and higher level, up to that point that he got his contract extension. He's no PS2. All right, he's definitely not PS2, but he is one of the top corners in the league, and we shouldn't say that he's not, because he is. He just hasn't been playing great these last few games, but definitely no exaggeration. That man is still elite.
Yeah, and all 3 your points, I'm gonna first say before this game, I felt like most of his mixed tackles were due to just poor edge play. Again, 9 times out of 10, your corner should not be in position to be making big run stops to begin with. I don't really see how that should ever happen, honestly. It just no running back should be able to even get that far to where your cornerback is over there making the tackle. That's how you already know your defense did something wrong.
Yeah.
Last week, or I guess Sunday, we saw Trey McBride kind of just manhandle him. Yeah. I actually didn't think the form on the tackle was bad. Just Trey McBride just big bodied him. It was just one of those things where it's just I don't think there's anything Sauce could have done better on that play. He's just a very skinny dude, and it just so happens that Trey McBride, he's having a phenomenal season. I remember we talked about it a little bit at the end of the last show that I was low-key, he's the guy that I'm kind of worried about because I'm I don't know who guards him. Yeah. And it seems like their strategy, and I didn't like that strategy personally, to put Sauce on McBride and DJ Reed on Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know whose thought that was. This is when I'm all right, we are really kind of, y'all had a week and a half to think about this, and that was the thought y'all came up with. I get it, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah. It's tough because like you said, Sauce is 6'5", skinny, and it's tough for him to kind of, you're good now. It's tough for him. It's tough for him. It's I'm really not even gonna excuse that missed tackle because as somebody who's played football before, I don't even know why he was going that high on somebody that big.
Yeah, it's true.
All you had to do was
but it's a little harder. It's one thing when a guy is a ball carrier. It's another thing when you're guarding someone and you're just trying to just stop them from getting through the yard. You're just trying to, I saw what he was trying to do. He was trying to get on him, as fast as he could. But he was trying to just get him as fast as he could. And he's like, if I just get my body, I'm like, yo, he was like 6 yards away from the freaking first down. Like, honestly, like, yeah, you'd think that would at least get him minimum 3 yards, but that, I'm not gonna lie, that was just a phenomenal play to me.
It was, and it really was. It really was. Like I'm not even gonna sit here in front and like I saw the play in person, and like he went off and like hurtled over Jalen Mills, I think.
Yeah.
After that, like that was he turned beast mode on right there for that play. All right, it was like I was like, oh damn, oh shit. All right, it's like oh shit, but like, it was just one of those plays. But it's like I don't know. It was definitely a momentum shift play. It was one of those. It was one of those momentum like damn, like we can't even make that play there to get out the field, and like you could tell for the rest of the game it was like damn. So I feel like that's why that play got so much heat. And I mean,
but it's not a game defining moment.
No.
It wasn't 31-6. It's
like
people are making it seem like if he would have made that play, would have came back. No, we wouldn't have. We lost 31-6. We didn't have a shot.
Yeah, it was 31-6. And then a lot of people online are like highlighting that one play. Like if Sauce makes this play, the Jets win the game. I'm like, no, it's not even. That's not even like how that works. Like it was a lot of stuff that was missing. Rodgers missed Corley on a wide open touchdown. Yeah. And also on the same play, he had somebody else wide open.
Yes,
wearing number 5. I mean, I don't know who that could be, but like, you throw him the ball, you scheme up some stuff for him. Like it's definitely more than one issue. Yeah, like Johnny said, like it's a whole team thing right now, and it's like plays like that, kind of I don't like. I guess it could like rub off on the team and just kind of have bring morale down like for that drive or whatever. But Sauce needs to be able to make those tackles, for sure. And I mean, I heard Jeff Oubre had the boys in all pads or full pads this practice. So yeah, like we're gonna see like if that tackling is better, and if I see us missing tackles this week, I'm turning the TV off. If I even get in front of my TV to even watch the game, or in front of my computer to watch the game, but our tackling better be A1 since Jeff Oubre wants to have everybody in full pads this week to start the week off. So yeah. So yeah, man. It's I mean, but the Sauce hate has got to simmer down because it's not just, it's really not just Sauce. It's a handful of guys. Let's point the finger at Aaron Rodgers. Let's point it at
the finger at Woody.
Yeah, Woody. Some of the old linemen sometimes like I feel like Rodgers has maybe like 2 seconds before he has to like run for his life and things like that. So
he should just be throwing it away, but. Nonetheless, there's so many problems where it's just like you can't put it all on one person.
Yeah, you really can't. You're like exactly.
And if anything, who's like the 2 highest paid players, if I'm not mistaken, on the defense is Quinnen and CJ. So it's like, which I will say Quinnen got his fair share of hate earlier in the season, but it just feels like we're all just deciding like who to blame the entire game on. Let's go pick one person. Let's go attack him. I don't think, as fans, it's not productive for our time. It's not productive for the players, and it's honestly it hasn't helped us for however long we've been fans. So
it hasn't.
Jets Twitter can chill a little bit.
Yeah. Just Twitter will be going in.
I'm not gonna lie. They be just pulling stuff out. I'm like, oh gosh.
This should be going in, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's man. And like again, I agree. We cannot point our finger at one guy. Like this is a whole team issue. And honestly, I love Devontae coming in and like trying to take on that leadership role, but this team kind of still I feel like lacks that leadership that we need. in the locker room.
Yeah, because it starts from a coach. To be honest,
Yeah.
like when you don't respect your coach as the biggest authority in that locker room, that's a problem. Like right now, everyone's just kind of, I don't want to say scared, but dancing around Rodgers to an extent. Like, oh, are we playing to Rodgers' level? And like it's almost like having like that parent that you're always trying to meet their expectation, but you never actually meet it. And that's what it feels like Rodgers is to the rest of the team.
Yeah.
And then everyone just, I don't know, I'm not in the locker room, but it just feels like everyone's just like, oh man, like we're letting him down, and he's visually frustrated. It seems like he doesn't even want to be there at times. So I think whoever we hire needs to figure that out.
Yeah, whoever we hire needs to be able to like shoot the shit at Rodgers. Like I don't want no, oh Rodgers, whatever you want. Like nah. That's why one of my head coaching options that like I was like really kind of like on the fence about, but I'm like kind of all in for is John Gruden. Like I feel like he'll come in. He played with Devontae before, I think, right? Like they were together for a little bit before he got.
I don't know if their paths crossed.
Yeah,
maybe. It might have been like the year before. I forget which year he got.
Yeah, no,
that was a whole weird year that happened.
Yeah, it might have been the year before, but yeah, I mean, like, give me an experienced coach who stands on business and isn't afraid to say what he wants to, whatever player Hall of Fame or not. So
yeah, that's really what it comes down to. You cannot sit down and be scared to go speak up to Rodgers. And honestly, I think that's where I go back to where it's like, when you fire your head coach 5 games in and people, especially like, again, it's like the way it happened, like, it seemed like no one really talked to Woody, but it's like Rodgers just mysteriously just so happened to have a conversation with him the day before. And then, like, honestly, you see it again with the Mike Williams thing. Rodgers throws a shot at him. Now Mike Williams not showing up to practice. Next thing you know, Mike Williams is gone. Like, it seems like, you piss Rodgers off, you're out the door. That's a problem. That is a serious, serious problem.
Yeah.
If that's how the players feel, at least.
Right. But like, that's Woody. I feel like that's Woody. Woody is the main Roger fanboy. He's the biggest Roger fanboy. The man flew across the country to bake bread and bring him cupcakes in a secret location because he wanted Rodgers that bad. Like, I don't want, one Woody needs to go, and I want a coach that's gonna stand on business because that's what we need. We need coach to go stand on business, man.
Yeah, you gotta stand on business. And honestly, whoever we hire, like, and I'm hoping it's Chris that's hiring them, he should just be like, hey, look, I don't care what happens, you are the one in charge. You tell Rodgers whether or not he's playing next year, and everything goes through you. If Rodgers wants anything, he needs to go through you, and that's how the lane of what is it? The pyramid of command needs to happen.
Yeah.
Start with head coach. Like, all right, and cool. Like, I don't mind Rodgers taking that command of like the offense, whatever, but he shouldn't have that type of hold on the entire team, especially the coaching staff.
Yeah. No. Definitely agree. Definitely agree. Yeah, man. But yeah, no, I mean, this, like, today's episode, we weren't gonna, draw it out too long. We wanted to just get up here, say our piece with things, and give y'all the content, that y'all been waiting for, and we hope to come up here next week and kind of have a better mindset, or having a better mindset, but just like just something positive to talk about, something a little more positive to talk about, because
you got Anthony Richardson coming up.
Yeah, and if Anthony Richardson comes out there and runs for 150 yards, this is gonna be me.
I'm not doing this.
I need one.
Yeah, man. I don't know. But granted, like the craziest part about it is, like, Anthony Richardson low-key has like Zach Williams' accuracy, but like Josh Allen's body and ability to run. So, like, it's a very interesting which, granted, I will say, and I don't know, this is where I'm like, I don't think the coach should have gave up on him when they did, but that's a whole separate conversation. But he does remind me a lot of younger Josh Allen. Like, I didn't think Josh Allen was going to make it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, his second year, and then, he got the right people around him and kind of exploded. Yeah. But that's a whole different conversation. I am interested to just see how this team bounces back. I do think that, we should play the season out, actually try to continue winning games. I don't think tanking does anything for anybody. And especially not for the players, because, these are the same guys we're going to want next year to go play that full season. And, we don't want to be halfway through the season and then now we're like, oh, well, the guys, they're not used to playing in November or December. Like, that's bull crap. Play each game like you're trying to win. If anything, now you got no pressure on you because we know we're not making the playoffs. So, shit, go at it.
Go at it and tackle some damn body. This. I don't even if you jump off sides, tackle somebody. I don't. It really. At this point, it's like whatever. If you wanna hold on defense sauce, you better catch the pit. You better, get some good burn out there because the rest of the season is basically kind of done for. Not kind of actually is done for.
But like I think this is a good time for the team to just sit down and relearn how to win. Like you remember that it was actually the Lions. Remember the Lions? It's like they came out. That was actually the last year Rodgers with the Packers, and the Lions were kind of just they're like but then they finished out that season so strong, and then that kind of carried the momentum into the next year, and that kind of basically set the whole trend for where they are now. I think we need a little bit of that towards the end of the season. But hopefully there's a lot of good stuff to come still. Like I said, we're talented. We just mentally, they need to figure it out.
Exactly. And I hope, they give us something that's worth watching on Sundays because even though, we're out of it and, fans are frustrated.
Technically not out of it.
Technically not out of it, but even though the chances are slimmer than they were last week.
4%.
At the 4%, shout out DJ Reed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're technically not out of it. But I'm still gonna watch. I'm still gonna tune in. I'm like the team isn't making me, throw in my Jets fandom. Like I'm still locking in every week. I'm still looking at these plays just like you and every other passionate Jets fans will be. So. I'm glad they flexed us out of Sunday night because we didn't need to be on prime time. I'm cool with the 1 o'clock MetLife. Boom, boom, boom. So I'll be tuned in. Whether I'll still be here in Cancun, but I'll still be tuned in some kind of way on my phone or laptop or something. I don't think they're gonna show the Jets game on a local channel.
So technically, you can do like Dazzin, I think. Because it's like it's international. You're international now.
Oh yeah.
So you can try to see like what international stuff they got. Watch it.
Yeah. I'll be locked in either way. So win or lose, I'm still locked in. Just like at this Arizona game, I was there till 0-0 on the clock. And hopefully we have a little more, a little more positive things to talk about next week. But
well, actually, one last thing before we get off. As an offensive line guy myself, I want to give a big shout out to Olu. Like the way he finished out that game, and honestly, there's not a lot of positives from that game, but seeing Olu finish out the game, he had a pancake block, which was really cool. I think we need that, especially because, as we're starting to gear towards, what is this roster going to look like next year? I assume Tyron's not coming back. So if Olu can fill in that left tackle spot, you only have to fill the right tackle in the whole offensive line, and then everyone else is pretty much the same. That's really good moving forward. You want that cohesiveness when it comes to offensive line. So just want to give that shout out.
Okay, that's a good shout out. That's a good shout out. And I want to give a shout out to Quincy Williams because he's a dog, and no matter what, win or lose, he gonna boom somebody. He gonna give somebody the uppercut. So shout out Quincy Williams. That's my shout out because that was the only time I stood up. That was the only time I stood up in that whole game on Sunday. So yeah, shout out Quincy, man.
Yeah, and he might knock out some fans too.
Yeah, and he might uppercut some of y'all. Y'all keep talking about him, so y'all better watch out.
Yeah,
man. But yeah, nah. Until next time, y'all.
Into the air, into the end zone. Oh, man. Wow.